So, hey everybody, I wanted to talk for a minute about everybody's favorite topic, which is APA. And so, we are going to start with what's in your files, the APA information, and then the practice paper. And we're going to fix some things and make it look the way it's supposed to while we're doing this. So, I'm going to start with the title page. There is no running head required on student papers. Do not put the running head. If you do, we'll have to grade it. Do not put a running head. What else is missing on this page is the page number. Your page numbers start on page 1. Well, I'm going to not try to just type a 1 in here because it's going to get all messed up. I'm going to go and do insert. Where's my insert page number? And I want it to be on the top of the page always. And I want it to be on the right margin. So now every page will put the page number. Let's look and see. Yes, there's 2, there's 3. That's what we want. So we've done that. If you go in and manually put that page number in, and then you go in and manually put in page 2, it may jump up, it may jump down. It's never going to be in the right place. So there you go. The title. This is called title case. It is centered, it is bold, and it should have upper and lower case letters. And so when we say upper and lower case, each word essentially should start with a cap. I think the rule of is if it's 4 letters or longer. So I'm going to go ahead and capitalize these. Top. I'm going to go ahead and capitalize only because it's an important word. The, no, of, no, page, yes. Okay. Then it's supposed to be double spaced, and this is not. But all of this is supposed to be double spaced. So let's just see here. We want double space. And we don't want, see this before and after? If there's extra space somewhere between paragraphs or anything like that, it's usually because of this right here. Take all of that out. You need no before and after spacing. So I'm going to take that out. Now we've got everything double spaced. The only thing that's not double spaced, or it is double spaced, put an extra space right here after your title on this page. Now, you need 6 lines on this page. The title is the first one, your name, Chamberlain University, the course number, the section number, the name of the course. We are in R449, or it's in R283. And then there's a section number. I don't know what it is, 15538 or something like that. I'm not real picky if you don't put the section number. But the name of the course, evidence-based practice, pathophysiology, whatever's the name of the course, put the course number and put the name. Put your instructor's name and then the due date and spell it out. This is not, let me put a little blip here. You do not want to put 1/21/23. You want to put January 21, 2023. Okay? Spelled out, that's what that means. Now, from there, we want to go to the next page. Now, what people do, and I'm going to, is, this has got to go on the next page. So what am I going to do? Enter, 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 enter. And when you submit it, you know how your page, it looks like this. It doesn't roll to the next page, or it goes too far down the next page, or because you stuck that page number in instead of using the page numbering system, it's got a page number in a weird spot. So we're not going to do that. Let me take this back out, and I'm going to show you. Come on out of there. Whoop. Took too much. All right. Title of article. And what I'm going to do here is, once again, let's insert a page break. And that means I can go back up here to this title and add whatever I want in here. If I want to lengthen the title to 3 lines or whatever, this is always going to start on the next page because we got a page break right there. This is what you want, always starting on the next page. Now, the title of your article goes here. Look up above, title of the article. That would be this. All of this would go there. Okay? I see something missing. Got an opening, need to have a closing, right? All right. So here's our thing. Our title of our article will be here. Now, a lot of people, one of your things is an introduction. You got to have an introduction. APA says that we know the introduction is the first thing in the paper. So you don't need a header for introduction, right? We know it is because that's where it's in the paper. The introduction is the first thing. So instead of putting another header under here for introduction, see, and that doesn't look real good because we've got two headers back to back. We're not going to do that. We don't need that. We're just going to start the introduction. Okay? These are little pointers, and I want to go through them, and then I do have the sample paper that we're going to fix too. So just remember, you don't have to do a running head. This is how you do the running head. Don't do the running head. Double space, double space, double space. Only on that first page do you add an extra double space. The rest of this paper should be just double spaced. We don't need an abstract. You don't need author notes. Just your paper. Title page, start the paper. All right. It starts on the first page after the title page. The title of the paper goes at the top of the page up here in title case, bold, centered, upper and lower case. Right. Right. It is the introduction, so we don't need to label it. Your assignment instructions will tell you do need that introduction. We know that's introduction, so if you don't label it, but you've got that introduction, it's okay. If you label it, I won't get too bent out of shape, but you don't need to label introduction. What should the text be? Left aligned. Now, how do you know if something is left aligned? Every once in a while, people want to look all pretty. And so what they do is they take this, and instead of left aligned, and let me go back to the home, this is see left aligned. What I see quite often is people doing the center justify. That makes both sides perfect. See there? Perfect margins on both sides. But it puts a lot of extra space where there's not supposed to be any between words. So we don't want to do that. We want justify left, align left. So this one's going to be nice and straight. This one's going to be a little jaggedy, and that's okay. We also don't hyphenate words. So let your computer type and let it return at the end of the line when it wants to. That's one of the other things I see is when people get to the end of the line and they enter. And then it messes everything up. So let the computer decide when to enter. When you want to start a new paragraph, then you can push enter. Start your new paragraph. Type it. Too many things. Introduction. Here are the other things. Left align, double space, indent the first line of each paragraph. But we don't want to indent. Right? Here is our paragraph. Oops. Okay, here's our paragraph. We don't want to go enter 5 times. Again, the same thing happens. See how they're not aligned? No. Let's go back. Go home. We're going to hit on our keyboard the tab key. Now, see how they're perfectly aligned? Always do that for every paragraph. The APA level headings, now you're primarily going to use those level 1 headings. Just about everything is level 1. All right? When you need a new heading, do not start a new paragraph. Do not add extra lines. Everything's double spaced, right? Let the paper decide when it needs to go to another page. Don't try to force a change in the pages, except for the title page and before the reference page, which we'll see too. Okay? Only double space. The page number, flush right. Use that insert page that I showed you, okay? 12-point font. Everything in the paper should be a 12-point font. Now they do, I think they say you can do an 11 depending, but I highly recommend stick to the basic 12-point font, the same basic font. This is Times New Roman, highly accepted as the standard all the way through. Okay. Okay, and I'll show you how to fix that in a second. 1-inch margins on all sides. All 4 sides need 1-inch margins. Okay. Let's go to layout, margins, and here it is. Left, left, left. See there? That's what I want. 1-inch margins. Boom. All sides. Remember the right one will be a little jaggedy. That's okay. 1-inch margins. Don't hyphenate. Don't enter at the end of the line. What happens if you have a lot of enters at the end of the line and then you upload? It shifts things just a little bit. And what will end up happening is, like, let's say this was the end of the line here. You'll see this without the bullet, but you'll see that kind of thing. If you're seeing those little jagged little short lines, that's because you're entering when you shouldn't be. You should be letting the computer tell you where to, come on, where to end the line and go to the next line. It'll just do that by itself. Leave it alone and let it do it. Right? Your machine is a wonderful thing. Now, the first paragraph underneath the title on that second page under the title page is the introduction. And end that introductory paragraph with this statement. The purpose of this paper is to finish that sentence. That's the end. That's the last thing in your introduction. You've made your introduction. You've used some statistics to show why this is important. Therefore, the purpose of this paper is to. Okay, finish the sentence. Go to your next heading. Now, here are the level headings. The title of your paper is technically a level 1 heading. They don't consider it a heading. It's a title. But a level 1 heading is the same. So you'll have your next heading be centered in bold, upper and lower case. They call that title case heading. Okay? Most of yours are going to be title case like that. Then drop to the next line with your double space and start typing. Indent your paragraph and keep typing. A level 2 is the same basic. It's bolded, upper and lower case, but it's flush left. And this would be like an outline. Level 1 heading is big A in the outline. A level 2 heading would be under that, indented in an outline, and it would say number 1, number 2, number 3. And then you go back to big B and you start the next part, you see, with your level 1 heading. Like I said, we don't use just a whole lot of level 2, but if you happen to break up one of the requirements in the rubric and put smaller things under it, then use your level 2. For example, maybe if you're explaining the matrix table, then you've got an introductory paragraph. You've got the matrix table centered in bold. This is a matrix table, and this is what this is. And then you want to talk specifically about participants. And so that might be a subheading underneath the big heading of the matrix table. So that one would be left aligned like this and bold and upper and lower case. You would need at least 2 subheadings before you start breaking up headings, if that makes sense. All right. And then if you have a third level, for some reason you had these and you broke them up into more and then more and then more. I have used 2 levels. I've rarely used 3, and I don't think I've ever used 4 and 5, but some papers do. Okay. All right. All right. Following parts of the paper: the title page, page number. Use insert page number and it will number your pages. Put the title at the top of the next page. Okay, it's technically page 2 by number, but it's the first page of the body of your paper. And if you will repeat the title there and then the introduction, we don't label that with a heading. Okay, but put your introduction there. The last line of the introduction is what? The purpose of this paper is to finish that, put your first heading there. Whatever it is in the rubric, whatever it is in the requirement, the body of your paper starts there. Use level headings for all the requirements because, number one, if you don't, you're going to ramble and roam. You're going to not be focused. I'm going to have trouble finding it, and you don't want that. So pull it all together. Make sure you use those headers to help you keep your focus on what you're supposed to be doing. Okay? And pay attention to the page. You've got 3 pages. So if you've got an introduction that's a page and a half, that's way too long. Cut it down. You need a paragraph. Probably just less than half a page. All right? You got lots more stuff to put in there. All right. The body of the paper. The conclusion. Label conclusion with the header. Conclusion. Bold. Centered. Start the word with a cap. Right? It's a summary. Don't do any new information. Keep it simple. Summarize what you've done in the paper. Got it? Now, what I would say is when you've got conclusion, there's your header. So the first line underneath that ought not be in conclusion, right? Because you just said it was a conclusion. So you don't need to say in conclusion. We know that. You just labeled it that. All right? You see me cross off in conclusion a lot of times. And that's one. A reference list. Start it on a new page. Remember how I showed you how to insert a page break? Insert a page break. Start your reference list. Label it references. Upper and lower case. In this case, you just capitalize references. It should be centered, right? And it should be bold. I'm just going to do that. I'm not going to center it because that'll mess this up. Centered and bold. Then start your references. Double space. Remember, everything is double spaced. Left aligned. Everything is left aligned but the headers. Left aligned. And now we're going to do something different. And I'll show you in a second. We're going to do hanging indent. And that is not the first line is indented. It's not. It's left to the left margin. But all the other lines are going to be indented now. Okay? What do? You put the author's last name and first initial with correct punctuation. That means author's last name, comma, initial, period. And then if that's the only author, then you skip a space and you put the date in parentheses. If there are more, then you put a period after the initial, and then a comma, and then the next one, and then the next one. And between the last 2 authors, okay, or between 2 authors, before the last author, you need to put the little and sign, the ampersand, right? So put that between 2 authors. Put it before the last author, however many there are. So you've got your authors listed up to 20, by the way. Don't use et al. In the reference list. Only use it in your in-text narrative citations. The date goes in parentheses after the authors, and that's the year. Okay? And then a period after it. The title of the article. Now, the title of the article is written in sentence case, and that means it's written like a sentence. So every word in the article title does not start with a cap. Okay? It's not bold. It's not upper and lower case. The first word starts with a cap, and that's it. The rest of it's written like a sentence. Now, the exception to that is the title of somebody's name, or the title of an agency, or the name of a country. All of those proper nouns, I guess, are always capitalized. Right? But that's it. The rest of the article title should not be capitalized. It's a sentence case. Then the title of the journal and the volume number. The title of the journal should start each word with a cap, and it should be italicized. The journal title and the volume number, that very first number that comes after the volume number, should be italicized. Then comes the issue number, and then comes the page range. Those are not italicized. And then the DOI number is not italicized. If there's a DOI number, put it in. There should be one now for everything that's current and up to date. You should have a DOI number. If it's a blog or a wiki something, it won't have a DOI number. Oh, good clue. It's not research, right? Okay. You really don't use the term retrieve from or date retrieved. Very rare cases like lay magazines, news articles, things like that that we pretty much don't use. So you really need to use retrieve from or date retrieved. Um, okay, there are rare examples when you would. For book references, a journal is a book, so we italicize the name of the journal. A book is a book, so we italicize the name of the book. Um, it's in italics, and it should be sentence case. Only the first word starts with a cap, again, except for proper names. Some books are named after their author or their former authors. Whaley and Wong's Nursing Care of Children. Well, Whaley is the first, so it would be capitalized, but Wong is a person's name too, so it would start with a cap, right? The rest of them would not. Now, the other thing is put the publisher's name, and if you're old school, you remember having to put the publisher's location. Prentice Hall, New York. Prentice Hall is everywhere now. All the publishers are everywhere now. So we don't put the location of the publisher anymore. Be sure that you're following punctuation rules, okay? Make sure you've got space after period, space after punctuation. Don't squish it all together. We'll be looking for that in text and in the references. Make sure you're using punctuation. Make sure you are spacing appropriately after the punctuation. And APA says one space after. Okay. So here are some examples on this, and we're going to do some actual practice. All right. So these are showing a book. This is a book, and it looks like R. Fincher Kiefer wrote it. So there's Fincher Kiefer, comma, R period. Here's the date, period. Here's the name of the book. See how the first word and the first word after the colon here is capitalized. Nothing else is, right? Here's the publisher, American Psychological Association. We don't give the location, and there's the DOI number. All right. APA used to make us break these links and make it all black and not underlined, but they don't do that anymore. A chapter in a book. Here's a chapter in a book. The here's the people who wrote the chapter. Here's the name of the chapter. Here are the book authors. See where it says editors? Okay. And this is the title of the book, just like above. See that book? It's italicized and it's mostly lowercase except for the first word. Okay? And we'll put page numbers. If there's one page, you put 1P. P219. If there's more than one page, there's more than one P. Go figure. PP 219 to 232. Pretty cool. Single author journal. Here's a single author, Alaska, 2020. Here's the journal title, Effective Nursing Education Strategies. Sentence case. See that? Here's the title of the journal, italicized. Here's the volume number right here, 25, italicized. Here's the issue number, not italicized. Here are the page numbers. Now you say, how do you know? I know because of where they are. See, I know that the first thing after the journal title is a volume number. I know that the issue number comes next in parentheses. And then I know that the page range is always last. All right. Another good clue that you don't have a research study, it's only one page long. You cannot share research in a page. So if you got an article that's a page long, it's probably not research. Okay, here's another one. This is more than one. 1, 2, 3, 4. And look, here's the and. See there? And South K. All right here. The and comes before the last author. If there were just two, it would be Brandon South, just like that. Okay. hand over using ISBAR. Again, this is an abbreviation. It's going to be caps, but you see how nothing else is there except the first letter. Here's your journal, volume number, issue number, page range, DOI. See how easy this is? It's amazing. Two authors. Remember what I said? There's the and between the two authors. Here's the date. Almost outdated, by the way. Patient safety priorities. That's the title. Sentence case. Journal italicized. Volume issue page range. DOI number. See how easy? You just get that in your head and you just know. Author. See, this one is showing you how to cite in the narrative. So if I want to cite a Friel and South, and I'm going to put it in parentheses, then I can use a little and sign there. It doesn't have to be English, you see. If I'm going to use the author's names in the sentence, I have to spell out and. A Friel and South state that nurses are great. Okay, and I've got to put the date there. On the other hand, I could say nurses are great, and then in parentheses, a Friel and South 2020. Now, you want to quote, you got to change APA. Another good reason not to quote, you don't have to change it. If you quote, and you shouldn't have more than one quote in a paper, but if you quote, then you've got to add a page number. Where did this quote come from in that paper? And here it is, page 444, it looks like. Okay? Okay. So it looks like here's another example of a citation in the narrative. South 2020, South says, da 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 da. Or, nurses are great. And then in parentheses, South, because I didn't use it in the sentence. Same here. I'm showing you how it is in the sentence, how it is when it's not in the sentence. Et al. Is used for everything over two authors. South et al. And it can be in parentheses or out of parentheses. Okay? Do not use et al. In the reference list. Only in your citations in the narrative. Right? All right, so now let's go to this sample paper over here that purposely has some things wrong with it, and we're going to fix them, I think. Is this the right one? I don't know the one I just had. Yes, this is it. Okay. Woohoo! So here we go. Here's the title, upper and lower case. We're missing our page number. So I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to insert that page number at the top right, and it'll always be there. Okay? No running head. Here's the title of our paper, upper and lower case. One extra double space. Here's your name. I wouldn't put Lisa South, RN, PhD right here. I would just put my name, Lisa South. Chamberlain University, the course name, the course number, the section number if you have it, but like I say, I'm not really wed to that. Name of the instructor, and remember the assignment due date. It's got to be spelled out. Okay? February 21. Remember how we did that? All right, what comes next? This is page 2. We repeat our title, and here it is, but it's not centered. So what can we do? We can go right here, and we can center it. This is how you center, okay? Let me undo that and show you space, 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 space. This is not how you center. No, it won't be centered, and it looks terrible. When you upload it, it'll be all messed up. So let's go back and center. There we go. Now, the other thing we need to do is double space. Oh my goodness, this is not double spaced. And it looks like there may be some extra space right there. So what we're going to do is go down through here, and I'm going to go up here to paragraph. And I'm looking to make sure there's no extra space, and I do want this double space. Now, you can stop at the end and do your entire paper and just say double space. Take off that before and after, the entire paper, and you're done. All right, what's the other thing we've got to do here? Tab. Okay. All right, no label for the introduction. And the last thing here in the introductory paragraph is Therefore, the purpose of this paper is to. What is the purpose of your paper? Right? Then you start with your first content. Level 1 heading, centered in bold, upper and lower case. Type the body of your paper. As many paragraphs as you need. Most sources say don't have a one sentence paragraph. So you need to have at least 2 or 3 or more sentences. And you've got a one sentence paragraph. Should it go above in that paragraph or below in the next paragraph? Decide where it needs to go. If you're using a level 2 heading, if you're breaking down level 1 into parts, you'd have level 2 headings. I don't think you need to do that. You may do it, like I said, with the matrix table narrative information. Make your content. You're done with the first part, the clinical question or whatever it is. Now you go to the next part, which is the definitions or descriptions, I think, in one. Let's go here. The next level 1 heading, centered in bold, upper and lower case. You've indented your paragraph and your writing, right? All the headings that you need, do them all. The last thing ought to be conclusion. Ending with a conclusion. Once you've gotten here, now again, and this is pretty much at the bottom. Oh, you know what? Let me look right here. Let's just see right here. What does this say? Paragraph. It looks like there's some space there. Yep, it moved it. So there was some extra space in there, and I looked for things like that. All right. Anyway, it looks like we've done it here. It just automatically rolled. But I want to be sure that we have a page break there. Okay, like we did before. And then this is another level 1 heading, right? Centered in bold. And start typing your references. Now remember that I told you here that you have to do the hanging indent. The first line is not indented, but all the others are. There's some extra space right here too. Let me take that out. So let's look at this one right here. Alaska 2020. This is written like a title, right? Here's their journal. Italicized, upper and lower case, volume, issue, page numbers, DOI numbers, all there. So we can take this. And I see there's extra space here. Do you see that? But look at this mess right here. What in the world? These are all cap and it's bolded. So we're actually going to need to fix that one. Let's do this one. Let's do, oh yeah, look at that. 10 point. We want 0. We want double. And we want hanging. See, they're hanging. Cha, it does it for you. That's what you want. All right, now what I'm going to do at the end of this is I'm going to have to fix this. Do you see that? Because it's caps and it's bold and it shouldn't be either. Then it should all be the same font. So I may need to put it here. We're going to fix this to it's Arial above. So for now I'm going to do Arial 12. It's got that caught in it somehow. I always hate that. Let's take it off again. I thought Arial would be easy. Okay. And I'm not getting rid of it, am I? I don't want underlined. I want black. Let's try this again. See, this is what happens when you cut and paste them, and they're all over the place. So Elias, first initial P, all right, looks like P S, comma, Jones, C period, comma, and Convoy, comma, S period, and the date is 20 15, right? Title, not in title case, in sentence case. Evolving the PICO method for the digital age, the PICOTD, right? That's the title. Now we've got the title of the journal. We can go ahead and push italics if we want to. But you saw how hard it was to get that weird font off of there. That's what happens a lot of times when you cut and paste and it's not what it's supposed to be. You can't really do that. That's what happens. So we want 54, but then I'm going to stop because I don't want the rest of this italicized, so I'm going to cut that off. You could just as well go back after and highlight it and italicize it, but this is 10, 594 through 599. Now, we've got all of that. Now, I'm actually just going to cut all of this. Oh, I cut my title. Man. All right, let me try again. I want to cut this. There we go. And I'm going to skip a space, and I'm going to try to pull that up. There we go. So now we've got our indent, and this looks right. It looks like all the rest of them, right? Okay. Here is Simmons. The title, the name, there's the and, all the initials. This looks right. Sentence case here, that looks right. Italicized, upper and lower case. All the information is here. There's only one thing wrong with this. Can you see it? And we can do them all at once. I'm going to do this one. I'll do the rest of them all at once. We need to hang it and indent. Right? Okay. And there's also, let me go back. There's too much space. Look at that. Dadgum, they hide that in there. Okay. All right. So here's Stevens. Old article. Vehicle safety and children. Ew. This is supposed to be lowercase. See there? Sentence case, right? JAMA, the Journal of the American Medical Association. What do we have to do with the title of the journal? Italicize. Otherwise, it's correct, upper and lower case. Volume, issue, page, DOI number. Perfect. Here's the next one, McMahon. Oh, but it looks like there's a space there. There is. Okay. It needs a hanging indent. And again, you can do this all, you can highlight all of them and do them all at once, and it'll work too. McMahon, I don't see an initial for McMahon. So we need to go back to this and look it up. He doesn't have an initial here. Oh, Stevens didn't either. Oh, my goodness. Stevens. So let's say we go back and we look, and his initial is T. So we've got to have his initial, and that's what we'll do. McMahon. We'll go back and look at this article, and his initial is, let's say, M. We'll be looking at them, but there's that one. Again, Assessing Drug Safety in Children. This is the title. It should be written in sentence case. See what I'm doing? Taking those caps out, just like that. The row of real world. Just backspace and grab it. Data. Grab that one. New England Journal of Medicine. We've got that italicized, upper and lower case. There's everything we need, and there's our DOI number. Next one. And this is one I can't even understand. Albertini, Miser Stedman, Claxon J. It looks like he needs an initial. Don't know what his initial was. We'll look it up and say it was a G. Okay? When we looked it up, it was a G. So we've got everybody, initials, all the names here, and between the last two. Here's your date. Again, we'd need to change this title. Do you see that? We'd need to go through here and change all these, and I'm going to quit doing it, but we change all of these to lowercase, and then there's the journal. This one looks correct, but what's wrong with it? It's not double space, right? Look at all this space in here. So let's take all of these. Let's just see what we can do, even though some of them are done, and see what it'll let us do. We're going to do it all. First thing we're going to do is actually look at this and make sure it's off. We're going to do double. And we're going to do hanging. Boom. Let's see what it looks like. Yay. Uh-oh. These have some odd formatting in them again. That's one of those things that happens when we cut and paste things in a little bit. It looks like it's got a whole different, look at that. It's got a whole different margin. Let me see if I can fix that. Or just grab it all and go up there to those margin settings and see if it'll fix how it was layout. Margins. Left. Oh, it won't. Well, we'll have to go back and figure out how to fix that. If you can't fix it, what I say is just cut those and start here and enter them again, and then delete them down below. Just copy them, type them over, and delete them. That's probably what I would do for those. Now, the other thing you've got here is this needs to be alphabetical by the first author's last name. Here's an A and an E. Are there any other A's or E's? Nope, there's an Albertini. That messed up one, doggone it. All right, so we would need to take him, right? I wonder if I can. I just end up typing things over too much of the time. There it goes, perfect. But now he's an ALB. So alphabetically, he's got to be moved. ALB, ALA. So we're going to put him right here. ALB. The next one is E, right? There's no more. Okay, E. And then M would come before S. So we'd have to move this little guy up. And I got to do the same thing to him. I'm going to squeeze him in the right spot. And then I'm going to hang an indent. You see how I'm fixing this? There we go. And I'm going to copy it. Delete it there. M comes after. There we go. A couple of other things I'm going to fix. HIJKL, so south would go up here between Simmons and Stevenson. And then there's space. Okay. Now the only other thing I can see that we need to do here, there are like 5 different kinds of fonts, big, little, and everything else. We want our entire paper, let's just do Control A. Our entire paper should be lit up, Control and A, entire paper. We're going to make it somewhere on here is Times Roman. Let's get down to the T's. Did I miss it? Good grief. Times Roman. Everything is Times Roman. Everything is 12 point now. Everything. Right? I still see space right here. I see space right here. So I'm guessing there's something right here. Make sure both of those are 0. Yeah, it jumped just a little bit. It still looks like there's space there. Okay, maybe not. Okay. So everything now is the same font. Everything is double spaced. All of this looks great. Let's get this up. Right? They're alphabetical. Look how nice that looks. Oh my goodness. Up. Now, this is great. See here, we didn't have a page break here. And so the top part of our references jumped a page when we did that. So we definitely need to insert a page break. And now no matter what happens above, even if I type a whole nother page, references is always going to start on the new page. Okay, got it? Hoping. Okay. Ask if you have questions. I know that's quick and dirty, but all of these are great resources and I hope you use them. Thanks, everybody.